If you want the Rosetta Stone for understanding the times you live in, here it is. The moral compass of our age points in one direction and one direction only, towards the aggrandizement and enlargement of the self, the ego. Any appearance otherwise is deception and duplicity. This is the default setting for all Western and Westernized peoples, and only the rarest individuals are capable of breaking from it. Obviously, this has far-reaching implications, but none more interesting than those related to that most sacred of subjects, love. Sacred, lol. I'm just kidding, love is anything but sacred today. You can't seem to turn a corner without being confronted by love, or rather, by love's whorish, tarted-up doppelganger. Few and fewer, however, seem able to tell the difference. But nowhere is that difference more visible than in the subject of struggle love. Now for a brief disclaimer. As with most new terms that develop out of online discourse, struggle love doesn't have a lot of semantic stability, but based on how I see it used, it means love that is painful or that involves significant sacrifice. Sometimes it is used in other ways, and to the extent that it is, I have, at this time, nothing to say about that. My interest in struggle love is related to a broader interest in what I see to be a general trend in the way that people talk about love. I can't believe I gave him a chance. He's such an asshole, Meredith laments. He is an asshole. You deserve better. You're amazing. You're perfect, Tasha affirms. Both of these women are in their early 20s. Tasha has a boyfriend. Meredith is on Tinder. She's been seeing a guy for the last couple of weeks, frequently talking about how she's got him wrapped around her finger. Last week she was bragging that he'd even offered to pay off her credit card for her. After asking her some more questions, it turns out that he'd simply said that if they got together, her credit card debt would be something that he would want to help her with. So it's interesting that Meredith would represent this in such a way as to maximize the guy's simpish appearance. He just had sex with me, and then he's like, oh, my ex and I are going to get back together, sorry. Like, fuck you, you asshole. You said you loved me. What? Hadn't you guys only gone on 2 dates? Yeah, she says sheepishly. So anyway, I told him he had a small dick and was just using his truck to compensate. This is a real conversation which I was recently privy to, but I have heard mostly identical conversations more times than I could count over the years. Yes, the whole thing is cringe, but it illustrates something that doesn't get enough press. People no longer understand what love is. It's not that they have the gist of love but get lost in the execution or the theory, they simply do not understand at a fundamental level what the word means. To see this, one needs to look no further than the way people speak about it. Meredith feels betrayed by the fact that the man she was seeing did not fulfill the promises that she felt she had been entitled to by the use of the word love. Because when the object of love is to be herself, she uses the old idea of love which incorporates some aspect of the divine, something pure and untrammeled by earthly games of self-interest. But from her position, the affair was about self-interest, and not just self-interest, but financial interest. She wanted to be loved absolutely, unconditionally, but she was only able to love instrumentally. One finds this everywhere one looks today, this pivotal imbalance which makes all talk of love today fake and dumb, because it fails utterly to comprehend the fundamental nature of what love is. If the idea of love seems hackneyed or sappy or cliché, it is because the incredible profundity of what it truly means has been jettisoned in order to spare our collective egos from the shock of realizing that we are not capable of it and do not deserve it. People get big mad when I say this. Ironically, the reason that they do is because it is an attack on the same narcissistic conception of themselves that prevents them from being able to love. So if you feel like getting offended in the comments, feel free, you've already lost the argument. And I don't know that I'm any better or more capable of love than they are, but what I can say for myself is I have a better understanding of its gravity, of what it requires. Love is the action of the self, which leaves the self behind. It is the thing inside of us that points outside of us. It is the one and only escape from the ever-shrinking confines of our ego. And because it is these things, love is costly. To love something or someone is to be willing to suffer for them. This is why love without commitment does not exist. It is merely mutual enjoyment, utilitarian in both directions. Actual love is heroic precisely because it is not utilitarian. It is not for the weak. It is not for the lazy or insipid or unworthy. It is at its core a virtue, and all virtue requires sacrifice. Every article, poem, essay, etc. warning about toxic relationships testifies to our current culture's inability to grasp this idea. It is only in our current age of the almighty self that anyone could imagine that something being harmful automatically excluded it from being good. Only in the age of the Almighty Self could a woman, or man, be indignant that they were not given that which they could not give. But what about abusive relationships? I hear the peanut gallery crying. Such questions have no easy answers, precisely because abuse is such a loosely held concept. Anyone can claim that they have been abused by a partner. All that prevents it is the willingness of the listener to respond, no you weren't. Essentially what is being argued over is how much pain one believes that they should have to endure for love. Everyone must draw that line for themselves, understanding what it means, appreciating the gravity of the decision, and taking responsibility for it, because the alternative is so much worse. The alternative is a world in which love requires no sacrifice, no commitment. It becomes a contract which may be abandoned at any time for any reason, and is, for that reason, no longer a contract. Everyone wants the freedom to leave without paying any price, but vanishingly few are content to be left in the same manner. Such a world would be, quite simply, a world without love. Ariana E. recently wrote an excellent essay in which she examined the absurdity of being told that the marriage was beautiful because of the availability of divorce. Divorce may be a necessary evil, but to claim that it is the virtue of marriage is so insane that it could not be uttered except in an age which understands nothing but narcissism. In this way, our struggles to give and receive love are enmeshed with a far larger cultural and historical process that affects everything, even our politics. So enough with this talk about struggle love. There is no such thing. There is only love. Imagine two objects, both appearing to be precious gemstones, set side by side. One is a genuine article, but the other is only a skillful imitation made of wax. To the naked eye, they may each look identical. Struggle is like the conflagration that reveals the true nature of each object. The one that remains through the flames is love. The other was only borrowing its name.